Are you conscious about nutrition? Then Malibon Vitagen is the best nutritional supplement for you, with no added sucrose and a low glycemic index.
My name's Melissa and I am the founder of Bakes by Bella, which was pretty much a little startup that started in my kitchen at home. And today we're in this beautiful location, new location, which is down Palm Grove. And I'm so glad that you guys could join us today. But you know how the story goes. I moved back from London. I couldn't find a job in my field, which was in biomedical sciences, and baking was always a hobby along with photography. And Bakes by Bella just became a household brand. 6 years on, here we are. Well, it was a huge difference because for one, when I moved back and I couldn't find a job in my field, it was very hard on my mental health. Because, you know, I'm experienced in a completely different field. I'm qualified in a completely different field. But I have to say, having embarked on this journey, I've truly discovered what my actual passions were and where they lie. And I have to say, being a massive foodie, this is pretty much like a dream job, so yeah. Okay, so when I started, I was in my late 20s, like 27, 28. My mindset was very different. I was used to a very different way of life. I was more free when I was back in London. Coming over here, one thing I noticed was, because of the cultural differences, conforming to societal norms was core. Unfortunately, that didn't sit right with me, and I always kind of, you know, did what I felt was me. And at the beginning, yes, it was difficult because, you know, nobody embraces change willingly. But I think having been here for about 6 years now and forcing myself down people, I think people have started to respect me for my individuality. And today I'm in a much better place than I was 6 years ago. For me, the only thing that I could say to every single woman out there is, don't hold yourself back. You know, we all have one life, and you know, like on my deathbed, I know that when I look back, I'm going to be like, hey, you know, I did this and I did this for me. So I think for all of us, that sense of accomplishment is very important. And the only thing that's keeping us from achieving it is ourselves. So don't hold yourself back, and don't let fear of what people think hold you back from your dreams and goals, because it's not worth it. I think this entire journey has been a highlight because at 23, I did not have any idea that in 10 years, this is where I would be. So for me, this has been overwhelming, but in a very positive way, of course. The whole thing has just been an absolute highlight. Yes, there's the downside as well, but I embrace it because this is my journey, and this is still the tip of the iceberg for me. I have a very long way to go. I'll be honest, I used to be a really fit person, but after I moved to Sri Lanka, because when I was back in London, I literally walked everywhere. Even though I had such a hectic, busy lifestyle over there, I walked everywhere. So my health, my physical side of it was always in check. Once I came over here, I realized, I can't walk in the streets as freely as I wanted. One, it's really hot. Two, you get catcalled every 2 seconds, you know, and as much as I can keep telling people off, it's not worth the effort to keep doing it. So that really, you know, took a toll on my, I would say, my physical wellness. And with my line of work, I'm at work from morning until night. I'm still in the process of trying to find that balance of dedicating at least 2 hours of the day to myself, But it's just at this stage in my life, I'm so exhausted by the time I'm done, I just want to sleep, you know. But I'm working on it. Well, the way I'm looking at it at the moment is, Nasi, one of my biggest, I would say, strengths is because I'm in the food and dessert business, I have no craving for sweets anymore because I'm surrounded by it all the time. So I don't take dairy, I don't take sugar, and it's very rarely that I would eat something sweet. So it's about finding that balance, and when I want it, I have it. When I don't, I don't. I'm working on finding the time to give myself at least an hour a day to dedicate solely towards my fitness journey that I hope to embark on very soon. I feel anyone can, but I think something that holds back a lot of women is their own fears and insecurities. It's what will people think? Like, that's something that's so common over here. I've heard it so many times. What will people think? You're dressed a certain way. What will people think? So it's a constant, you know, are you sure you want to do that? What will people think? That approach, that mindset is very much alive in this country. And like, when it comes to women, we've been raised in this country to always be mindful about what our neighbor thinks of us without really thinking about what we want for us. So I think one of the biggest setbacks and holdbacks of women in, you know, to embark on a journey on their own is that fear. But I think breaking the barriers is very important, and, you know, letting your own individuality shine through what you do is important, and also trusting the process and sticking to it. Like, you have to set your mind on a goal and you have to work towards it. You can't, if you're embarking on a journey of entrepreneurship, you can't wake up and be like, oh, I don't want to do it anymore, and stop. You know, you have to see it through no matter how hard it is. And of course it's hard. Like, embarking on a journey on your own is so much harder than working a 9-to-5 job, for the simple reason that, you know, that when you're working a 9-to-5, you have that paycheck waiting for you at the end of each month, regardless of how well you do your job or not, you know. Whereas when it's your own thing, you don't know if you're going to get that paycheck if you don't work your butt off to get it, you know. So you have to be driven enough and passionate enough to want to achieve that and see it through. So I think when it comes to women, it's our own fears that hold us back more than anything else.